the Democratic Socialists of America, which I assume Mom Donnie considers himself, they recently published a panel discussion from their annual socialism conference. Can you think of a worse place to be than an annual socialism conference? I can't think of fewer places I'd rather be less. It featured open calls for the abolition of the nuclear family and traditional family structure in the United States, because they say that the nuclear family, Libby, is an inherently repressive, racist, and heterosexist institution that functionally reinforces and reproduces capitalism. So essentially, they, along with Black Lives Matter, want to get rid of the nuclear family. You see a trend here. You see how this goes. When you abolish the nuclear family, you do so much damage to children specifically. It is a horrible thing. You look at kids, who live in one-parent homes, especially without the father. They are more likely to do drugs. They're more likely to end up in prison. They are more likely to get poor grades. All of these things have mental problems, depression, etc. But these people want to get rid of it, Libby. This is crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is crazy. It was crazy when BLM proposed it a few years ago, and it's crazy that the front runner for the New York City mayoral race is on board with this kind of thing too. As for the also Omar Fatah in Minneapolis is part of the Democratic Socialists of America, and this is what they want, because if they destroy the power structure for individuals, if they destroy the family, then the government takes the place of whatever piece is missing, right? So the government then becomes your spouse. The government becomes your parent. The government becomes what you rely upon. And as soon as you're relying on the government, you are controlled by the government. And that's what they want to do. The Democratic Socialists cut Democratic because they're just socialists. They want to control individuals. They want to control Americans. And it's also true that they hate American culture. American culture is really individualistic. It's about independence. It's about, having your tight family and making decisions together with your family and choosing what's best for that. It's about, growing your own tomatoes and sowing your, fishing your own salmon, whatever else. It's about taking care of yourself and taking care of your family. And the socialists want the government to fill that role for you for all time, so that you're constantly growing government and you can never let that go and be on your own. And I think that it's anathema to the American personality, and it's opposed to everything that we really believe in as Americans, and they hate it. They hate America. They hate Americans. They hate our values. They don't want us to own our own homes. They don't want us to grow our own food. They don't want us to raise our own kids or choose what books we read, or any of the rest of it. They're also super in favor of sex work, which I think is just a devastating scourge for young men and for young women. And it's really a shame that they have gotten such a foothold in the Democratic Party. And traditional Democrats should really be ashamed of themselves for having done this, not just to their party, but to Americans, right? I mean, it would behoove us to have two strong parties that are opposed, where you can say, oh, I like this idea from over there. I like this idea from over there. Let's work together and get something sorted out. But that's not what's going on here. And it's really, it's devastating. I don't think we need a one-party system. But with Democrats like these, that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, and there's nothing, Chrissy, that's more special and beautiful. And I speak from experience in my family growing up and the family I have now with two young kids and a husband and dogs coming out of my ears. I love it. There's nothing more beautiful and special than that, and nothing more important as far as I'm concerned. I will have, I don't know how many titles in my life I will ever have, but none will be more important than the title of mom and wife, quite frankly. And so the idea that anybody is against that people would push against that idea and that beautiful connection and relationship should be a huge red flag, Chrissy, to everybody.
Well, this is the same subsect of individuals who believe that open concept kitchens are also a sexist part of the patriarchy. So I'm not exactly shocked by this. However, I do think I have a little bit more of an unpopular opinion on this when it comes to Gen Z and young people. I do think that we're at a really pivotal point, and thank goodness, finally, I've been screaming this for years. Charlie Kirk just went on Tucker Carlson and really made a fine point of this, that my generation right now, the reason why you're seeing so many democratic socialists is because hyper-individualism has led to this really bad housing crisis, the really bad economic situation that we've been in for years and years and years. We're the first generation to not have the same economic opportunities that our parents have had. And unfortunately, what I see right now is the populism wing is rising so much with men, and that's why they're headed rightward, which I think is great. But simultaneously, if that economic burden is not fixed by the right, they're going to go and try something dramatically different in terms of democratic socialism, and they're going to flee to the left. That's why you saw so many Bernie bros end up voting for Trump. They're looking for someone to take away their economic burden that has been so heavy on us. I mean, new studies came out that just 12% of people under the age of 30 own a home and are married. 12%. It used to be 50 in 1950. It's getting really dramatic. And so my warning to people, in the happiest of ways, is we have 2 years to fix this problem for a younger generation and be less hyper individual and be more focused about our communities, because we need to fix this problem. Otherwise, we're going to have this massive swing that we're talking about towards the right is going to start to turn scary left, not just left, scary left.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.